if power cuts are not already enough, there'll be low water pressure in large parts of Gauteng this week. Rand Water says there'll be a 54-hour water shutdown in Soweto, Randburg, Roodepoort, Langlaagte and Joburg inner city. Now, it has to do with routine maintenance at the Vereeniging water purification plant. Our reporters Batement and Silindelo Masikane are following those developments and really just the beginning of that shutdown that is set to take place from early tomorrow. Barry, let's start with you. And what are you seeing and hearing on the ground in terms of those operations? And if there's confidence that it will last for that 54 hours that's been promised by Rand Water?
Well, I'm not seeing or hearing anything. I've just arrived here in Honeydew at the water treatment plant, where I can tell you about what is expected to happen in the next few days from Rand Water. What they're going to be doing is not just maintenance, it is a massive upgrade. And I'm going to use the terms that Rand Water use, but essentially they're the names for big pipes that carry water from the source to the Vereeniging water treatment plant. Now, they've got the B11 and the B19 pipe. What we're told is that the B19 is only connected to what is called the B5 pipe. So they're not getting enough water taken to the Vereeniging plant. So what's going to be happening is they're going to be doing what is called a tie-in. They're going to be connecting the B5 to the B11 and the B19, which simply means three pipes rather, to carry a lot more water to the Vereeniging plant, so that they can improve the ability to put out or treat water to keep up with the growing demands in a growing city like the city of Johannesburg. So that is essentially the work that is going to be taking place, which starts tomorrow and goes on for 54 hours.
What impact with the maintenance will that have on areas that are going to be affected?
Well, you touched on it in the introduction there. There's various areas in the south of Johannesburg, in the west and central, that will be affected. I'm in Honeydew. The areas around here will certainly be affected. But what we understand is that there will be a throttling of the water. So the water, the pipeline that's going to get shut down feeds the raw water to the Vereeniging water treatment facility. What they're going to be doing there is they will be at the Aikenhof pump station, which feeds the Aikenhof pump station, from Vereeniging. There they are going to be throttling the water supply to a reservoir such as the one behind me here by 25%. So you're going to only have 3/4 of the water volume coming through to reservoirs like this. The impact of this is that over time there might be reduced pressure and reduced supply to high-lying areas. The hardest hit area, if you can call it that, will be the CBD, which falls under the Zwartkoppies area. That is, the pump station that is fed or feeds that area in the CBD. That will be throttled by 50%. So only half of the capacity and pressure will be fed to those particular areas. So essentially that is what is going to be happening in order to ensure that there is supply over the period of the maintenance. The water will be throttled and there might be restrictions or running out of supply in high-lying areas.
Barry Batement, thank you for that update. Let me bring in Slee now, who is in Orlando East, if I understand it correctly. And Slee, obviously consumers are going to have to save on the amount of water that they consume over the next 54 hours. Some advice that can be given to consumers, you engaging with various stakeholders, surely they're giving some kind of direction that consumers should take during this period.
Well, we understand from Rand Water, as well as other authorities in the city of Johannesburg, that they have advised, of course, residents to use water sparingly and not to stock up on water. But I think that's quite difficult to do when you're not really sure exactly when your taps are going to be running dry. We're in the south of Johannesburg, in Orlando East, which is one of actually 33 or more areas here in Soweto that are going to be affected. We know that Pimville, Diepkloof, Orlando West, Dobsonville, Moroka, Jabavu, Protea South, Dlamini, as well as a number of extensions, Mdeni as well is going to be affected, is what Soweto residents are going to have to grapple with. In fact, when me and my colleague Kamogelo Mahlakwane were making our way into Soweto, we bumped into a woman who was carrying 3 containers, saying that she wants to be prepared for what's to be expected over the next 3 days. But I'm also joined by some of the residents here in Orlando East. Mama Unjani.
Ngiyaphila njani?
Mama bongitshela ukuthi wena ukuthi bongazi ukuthi amanzi azophela kusasa uzoyenza kanjani?
Angazi ngizoyenza kanjani. Kusho ukuthi kumele ngiboleka amakani, ngifuna amakani ngalokhuza ngoba nginabantwana bafudinga ukuya esikolweni, nami sinathi sidinga ukugeza. Sinabantu abagulayo la ezindlini abasebenzisa abafuna ukugeza yonke lento lena. Manje amanzi ayimpilo ngizopheka ngani? Le ngane ngizoziphani. I3 days is too much man. Asikwazi ukumela i3 days. Ngathi kubhlungu i-half a day ungenamanzi endlini. Uyantanta ungene ngapha nangapha. Manje nabazocisha le 3 days sizobe sinjani? Sizofa sinabantu abagulayo la ezindlini. Okumele ufaka amanzi umenzele umdoko. Manje nabazocisha abantu abanye abazi sizowathola lapha amanzi.
Ngiyabona nabanye abantu ngapha. Buti ngitshela ikuphatha kanjani? How do you feel ukuthi there's not going to be water in Orlando East?
Le ndaba ayingiphathi kahle ngoba la kumele setoilet kumele sigesi and la nginebhakethi eli 125 liter so angazi 25 liter ingakhona kungilasta for 3 days. So mase sigankeli uthi uyabona siyamosha ayingiphathi kahle and la kumele sigese and nabantwana lana kumele bagese badle.
Alright baba wena uzizwa kanjani?
Ngikhuluma ngishangani?
Shangani so right.
Hayi makala ingoma kahle na mina just because landwini jamani rineshe nina bakiti na bakiti rai one seni loko ndata ku ya toilet antivi ndendla njani antivi kundasweka njani ndahlantswa njani loko ra mati for 3 days.
Abuti wena how does it make you feel hore aku mitsatlo tsamaya?
Makale yona problem le because kufana na van'wana ati va byela kanjani no va na bacteria yin'we loko ni sweka ku ta va problem a toilet ya yini government leyi a ni tivi ku a yi le ku yi khomeni kahle man serious a yi khomi kahle government leyi loko a swi endla kahle a fanele va swi khasa leswi va swi vulaka ku mati ma famba manamba ma nga fambi for 3 days is too much it is loko va ku half a day hayi 3 days man hayi swona leswi.
All right. As you can hear, frustration, anger here in Orlando East. Some residents had no idea that there was going to be a water cut, and they're saying 3 days is actually way too long, that they are looking after elderly people who are sick, who need water, children who need to bath and go to school, and they're saying just 3 days is just unacceptable.